thank you for tuning in for another episode of Everyone Hates Us, a podcast dedicated to the art of winning. I'm your host, Lee, joined by my co-hosts, I guess, now, since we made the investment to get this guy a microphone, Dan Grievitz, Colin Murphy. It's a great crew. It's two Packers fans, and little old me, just an Eagles fan. Great to have you guys. Thanks for joining us. You know, the last episode we had was before they crowned a new monarch of the United States and a new World Series champion. So it's kind of interesting that we're here in the aftermath. We've had quite some time. Sorry, I took some time off to take a certain exam that I need to take in order to get into law school. And so we took a little 1 week break there, which really just gave us more time to stew in our feelings and get really upset about one thing. And really, I guess for Colin, it's two things, but revel in the revel in the victory. So, I mean, let's start with the president. That was like a fun. Okay, it wasn't fun. All right, so then, so 2 days before the election, I'm like texting you. I'm texting the group chat saying like, you know, guys, I got a feeling Kamala's gonna win. All right, like I just got a feeling she's gonna smoke him. Right, like Pennsylvania's in the bag. Like we're gonna get this. Like, and by we, I just want to make. I want to make it clear. I was a huge fan of Kamala. Like I have no problem saying that on air. I know people are probably gonna be like, oh, you beta male, and I'm like, yeah, take it up with me, dude. I'm 6.5 feet tall, and I voted. I actually didn't vote for Kamala, but more on that later. I can't believe I'm outing myself. It's related. It's related to the next part. But
and you went at me in that thread too for trying to talk you down a little bit because you were so confident.
I was upset. I was like, guys, manifest it, because like she's gonna win. You know, she's gonna carry our state by like 4 million votes. Wrong. Wrong. And then
I think Trump lost. I don't see Nvidia getting hot like this if that fucking traitor won.
That was my theory. I was like,
dude, you're on some wild tea leaves.
That's racist, Colin. Just because it's a Chinese company, you're bringing up tea. No, I really thought that she had won because Wall Street's reaction, and it was a weird Wall Street like market thing where like the semiconductors and like, you know, Taiwanese firms are doing well. And I was like, oh, well, why would they do that if Trump is like going to win? You know? And so I was like, maybe they know. Maybe they know. And election night happens, and it's just like, oh. I mean, in fairness, they were merciful, and it ended pretty quick. But, oh, that was rough.
I'll think
that went off the rails fast.
Yeah. In the last episode, I believe you had a segment where you talked about the Yankees as underdogs, and I said they're as much as underdogs as Kamala Harris was in the current election. And I actually now posit to you guys, who put up less of a fight, Kamala Harris or the Yankees?
Oh boy!
I'm not gonna join the Kamala bagging bandwagon. Okay, I'm not. You know, I was on the Instagram for Paulo Torres' podcast. Paulo Torre Finds Out, which is a great podcast. You guys should listen to that. But and then I was like, dude, you guys sent Kamala into war with like 2 rusty spoons and a cartoon lunch pail. Like, you cannot, don't put this on her. All right, she had to microwave an election campaign. All right, that is not fair to her to say that, oh, she's unelectable, all this blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't know that. You barely know that she was alive. Like, oh my gosh. People didn't even know she existed until like 6 months ago. So like, come on, right?
Apparently a lot of people didn't know until election week with the
yeah.
Google Trends.
It was wild to me to see that did Joe Biden drop out was a trending topic. Like how? How do you not even
Where'd
know
Joe
that?
go? What happened to him?
Wild.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was a rough night for all. But let's transition to a rough night for one in this podcast. Oh my gosh. I mean, fellas.
The Yankees lose.
Game 5 of the World Series was an absolute banger for people who love the Dodgers and for people who hate baseball, because that was probably one of the worst fundamental games of baseball I've seen ever played by a World Series team. Like, I think John Boy called it the worst inning in baseball, like in World Series history.
Yeah.
Which, like, it's not wrong.
Pretty
I
fair
don't know,
assessment.
Dan, like, what did you think of the whole?
I mean, I I loved it. Obviously, it was quite fun to watch, especially given how the rest of the game had gone up until that point. I think John Boy calling it the worst inning in World Series history is very valid, because I think it was the first time ever a team overcame a 5-0 deficit to win in a clinching game, and they did it in one inning in that fashion with just a complete meltdown by that defense, which we had already talked about, but they really outdid themselves. I think, I mean, yeah, it was great and very memorable, and especially fun for us with everything that we've been saying about the Yankees. And it really just cemented what ended up being such a great playoff run for us with an extra dose of memes to sprinkle on on the end there. It was great.
Joe Kelly and Miguel Rojas just salting the wound afterwards, just trashing the Yankees fundamentals.
I loved it. No, the best part was that they couldn't actually, like, they couldn't say anything about it. Like, Booney heard it and he was like, yeah, I thought it was, like, you know, kind of mean. I guess, like, that was the gist of it. It was like, it was kind of like, yeah, I got a little upset, but, like, and then it pretty much went into, like, but it's true. Like, you know, like, and so Murph, was it like, okay, I want to know from your perspective, was it at least funny? Like, did you at least enjoy it a little bit?
I mean, it's always funny to watch a team just implode, like with just shooting themselves in the foot repeatedly. I mean, even after the first 2 errors, the fact is they still could have gotten out of that inning clean. If Cole had gone to first, or, you know, honestly, maybe it's just because I watch Christian Walker a bunch, but, like, dude, any other first baseman charges that weak grounder and just takes it themselves 3 unassisted. Like, that's
any other. I don't know if Vladdy makes it there. Like,
fair enough. Any halfway decent,
Josh Naylor, I don't think he's making that run either. You know,
any
But,
halfway decent first baseman is doing that.
but we're putting Anthony
Freddie
Rizzo
Freeman
in
on
that
one
class.
ankle is still charging that. Like, that was, I mean, not to let you know, obviously Garrett Cole off the hook for that, because, you know, it's a little league mistake.
Just
but
a little first base.
Really point the finger. But no, I also think, you know, it's not a great look for, you know, baseball in general or whatever, when you have, like, your final game between the 2 best teams, and, you know, teams are committing mistakes that you won't even see in the Little League World Series. Like, it's just not a good showing, I think, to have, like, the best of the best kind of just, you know, brain fart like that. I mean, Judge, dude, that was an easy, like, liner right to him.
Yeah.
You know, there's no excuse to drop that. You know, at least, or whatever, the ball got spiked to Chisholm to Jazz, like, okay, like, at least that was vaguely a play that, like, you can see someone screwing up. But, you know, between, like, not covering first and that dropped it and the dropped liner to Judge, like, it's just, I mean, these are mistakes you don't see in beer leagues. It's kind of, it's just bad. And these are the 2 best teams. So, yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of dogpiling on the Yankees afterwards. I think it also just kind of speaks in general to the talent level of the Yankees, the fact that they're able to overcome such awful fundamentals and make a World Series. But it ended up going kind of the way that we all kind of mentioned it. You know, we thought it was going to go, I think we were talking about going 4 or 5. Dodgers kind of winning clearly. You just kind of look up and down the strengths of the teams. You know, the Dodgers were deeper. The Dodgers just play more fundamentally sound. And, you know, I think one of the craziest things, especially in all the dump, is how much the Dodgers also just switch up their mentality depending on who they're playing against. You know, you saw them against the Mets. Mets don't throw strikes. Dodgers just ate pitches, like, and, you know, and got the starters out of the game and then dealt with the pen. The Yankees, or whatever, Yankees don't play good fundamental baseball. Dodgers were aggressive. They wanted to put the ball in play. Like, you didn't see 3 true outcome Dodger baseball in that series, what you saw was a much more aggressive, free swinging team that you don't see a lot out of the Dodgers, and it worked to their favor. The Yankees, I honestly don't think I can think of a single game where they didn't absolutely botch something that should be routine for the majority of baseball teams. So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure the Yankees are going to kick in themselves, throwing game 1, throwing game 5. Like it really doesn't take much of an imagination to see this as being a Yankees 3-2 lead going back to LA. And the fact that they went 0-2 in Garrett Cole's 2 starts when he pitched phenomenally is just got to be really stinging them as well. But the Dodgers had a game plan. They executed it very well. They they wanted the Yankees to make plays, and the Yankees couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we've heard enough about the 5th inning, what happened there, but I'm glad Murph pointed out there were a lot of plays like that. It was a lot. Like even in game 1, it was like, how did Doogie didn't know the basic rule where you can't throw the ball when you're out of bounds like that. You can't throw it from out of bounds when you're fully out, and he ended up advancing the runners to open up a base at first. Like it's like stuff that you should know as a major league. Like you're getting paid literally millions of dollars to know this stuff, guys. Like come on, So there was a lot of that throughout the series. Well, turning our attention from the World Series to, and I'm gonna skip past the parade and blah 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 blah. I won't do that to Murph.
No, I didn't go, by the way.
I can't believe you didn't
asked
go.
me
You
last-
were up the street, fella. Like just,
Yeah, absolutely not.
it's a 20-minute drive. You're right there. Oh, don't you want to know what it feels like?
No, not that feeling.
Anyway, so the bigger thing now, obviously, is every team gets to start over. Well, not every team and not start over, but like we're back in that optimistic swing of things because free agents have yet to be signed, at least quality free agents. Sorry, Angels, those don't count. Jorge Soler and Kyle Hendricks. Ooh, whoa, better back up, guys. Angels are there for real next year. Kyle Hendricks and Jorge Soler. Sorry, guys.
Artie Moreno said checkbooks open this offseason.
They also got Travis Darno today.
I just can't wait to see what washed player he tries to bring in. My guess is Arenado.
Ooh, that's
I
a
think
fun game.
Yeah. What? Yeah. What very old vet is gonna have a career collapse on the Angels this upcoming year?
Murph, you better be careful because they might get a new first baseman if you know what I'm saying. Like, you better,
yeah. I mean, Walker's gone. That's fine.
no. I'm not talking about Walker. I'm talking about them trading for Paul Goldschmidt. Okay,
No,
or getting
well,
Paul
Goldie's
Goldschmidt.
Goldie's
free agent.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude.
No, I
Oh,
mean
God.
that's another good shout. Like that's a classic, Angels move right there.
You really don't want to
Big
do that to
name,
yourself.
former MVP. On the downswing, overpay him and watch him, end his career. And then you'll
Shocked
come-
Pikachu face as he
Yeah,
grounds into double plays for a few years.
And then what's it called? He'll get DFA. The Dodgers will sign him. He'll have a 140 OPS plus, like for the rest of the season, and then retire.
And then they'll win the
It's just
World
the way the
Series
world
that year.
works. Yeah, it's just the way the world works.
No, I have a hot take for who the Angels might get this year. Juan Soto. I think they come in as a dark
I don't
horse.
think so.
They
800
don't get good
million over
players.
14 years. You don't think Artie will do it? You don't think Artie will ruin another generational hitter's career? He'll fucking
No.
do it again. He's ready. He's taking down the likes of Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout. Oh my gosh.
Rendon.
There's no end to the generational talent this man can ruin. Like
Anthony Rendon.
Anthony did that to himself. But yeah. Oh my gosh. How perfect would it be? They're like a match made in heaven, fellas. Like,
I think Soto's too good and too young at this point. I think Cohen isn't getting that bad.
I used to think that about Albert Pujols at one point, and
No, but the cards clearly we're gonna struggle to hit the number that Pujols was looking for. As Grievous said, it's just tough to see Soto not go to the Mets. All indicators say that Cohen wants him. Cohen has some deep pockets unless GameStop spikes again, and then it's just gonna be a big problem for everyone else.
I'm with you that Cohen probably dips into his personal kitty for this, because obviously the Mets were. I'm sure the Mets feel like they were a couple, swings of the bat away from beating the Dodgers, and not an entire pitching staff. But that's a conversation for another day. But I just think it would be perfect if Soto went to the Angels, just to destroy his career there, and like, not that I hate Juan Soto. Like, if you're all about the money, well, let me tell you about a guy who likes to spend money. Like, it's not just Steve Cohen. Like, Artie Moreno loves spending money. It's just he wants to spend money on like one or two players.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Mike Trout looks like he needs to get out of there. And I think Rendon's contract is up in 2 years. And so, dude,
They have some cap coming up.
that's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. Just do it, Artie. Just drop $800 million. Straight up, like, call for a meeting, $800 million, and then. I mean, this guy doesn't care. Like, come on. It's Scott Boras. Like, he's going to take top dollar, right? Like, come on.
Of all the things that have happened to the Angels recently, including like losing Ohtani, obviously the Skaggs situation, I honestly don't think anything has been more disappointing or pissed off more Angel fans I know than Anthony Rendon, who just seems to be like trolling the team. He's never healthy. He's garbage when he does play, and he's just like unapologetic about it. Like, no remorse. It's just shamelessly just going out there and contributing absolutely nothing. That one seems to for everything else, even losing Ohtani to the Dodgers, like the Angel fans at least I know, it's just the one that really is like the twist of the knife. They can't stand the dude. Yeah.
I mean, it's fair. Like, he was so good with the Nets. He was such an integral part of that 2019 team, and he just fell off a cliff immediately when he got
He finished third in MVP voting that year.
Yeah, he was great.
Like,
He was genuinely
incredible.
great. But
You guys ready for this? In 250 or in 5 seasons with the Angels so far, 257 games played. Okay, like, guys, that's like a season and a half. All right, like, that is not okay. All right, and his OPS plus 100. He is a league average offensive producer. That is, whew,
that's
I would be so
250
mad.
games in 5 years. So like 50 games a
257
season.
50 games a season.
Well,
So a third of a
2020 was
season every
shortened,
season.
so,
Oh yeah. 2020 was a short season, so we
Okay,
can't really
okay.
count
Okay,
that
fair
against
enough.
him.
Yeah, true.
But I mean, still,
Yeah.
there's still 4 other seasons. And he's still under 50% if you just ignore 2020.
Oh God! I'm telling
Wow.
you, Juan Soto to the Angels, man. I think that should be a cautionary tale for people. It's like, hey, you want to take top dollar? Top dollar's on the table. Like, might want to go there.
The other team that everyone keeps talking about for Soto is the Blue Jays, and I feel like the Blue Jays' recent track record has also not been great. Like, it's not nowhere near the Angels, but I think that would be a weird choice as well.
I agree. I think, but the thing is, like, they're ready to spend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they have the money. They
gotta
they
get a
really
bunch
wanted
of
to spend it on
mid-ass guys.
Shohei last year.
Yeah, I mean, the Jays want to spend money. Presumably, that's all Soto cares about because he's with Boris. So he had a great little pun for, all of his free agents.
Scott
but the
Boras'
Soto
pun
one-
game.
The pun game
that
was
was-
strong.
It
Does
was
he have
really
kids?
strong.
Because his dad jokes are out of this world.
What was the one with the Snelling salts?
Yeah,
You know?
Snelling salts. I think my favorite one was the Alonso one, though, where you're talking about, some people are saying it's a bearish market for first baseman, but I have the polar opposite
Nice.
opinion. So yeah, pun game was strong with Boris.
Oh man, who wrote those? It couldn't have been Scott, right? Like,
Oh, I think he does. I think he spends 11 months thinking of puns.
he's like shopping them on an Excel spreadsheet and just like
Yeah.
adding ranking points to them and just like, oh yeah, this one's rolling.
I
Yeah, he did
100%
great.
think this is what happens. My thought is whenever he goes to elementary schools and he just like takes ideas from second graders. So I'm between those two ideas. Either he thinks of himself or he's outsourced it to elementary school kids.
Oh, you only need to go to like the YouTube comments, and then just like find that guy who like puts every album name or like song name in an album into like a big paragraph about how much they love an artist or something, and you're just like, oh god.
I don't think he reads that much.
Okay. I mean, so okay. Enough of Angels bagging on Angels free agency because, like, you know, stop it. They're already dead. Murph. Okay, I want you to be reasonable. Reasonable. Kendrick's not spending any money this offseason, but like, if
No,
he does,
absolutely not.
if he does, what are the moves your team needs? And like, when I was a kid and I would ask my mom for like Pokemon cards, she would be like, "Do you want them or do you need them?" Right? That's an important distinction I want you to make when you ask for things. Is like, do you want it or do you need it? And I'd be like, "Oh, mom, I need it." You know, like what the heck? Like all my friends have it, and so, but Murph, there's what we want, and there's what we need. All right, what do the D-backs need to like even remain baseline same as last year?
I think at its core, honestly, we don't really need a whole lot. We're gonna grab a bullpen arm or two. That's pretty much a guarantee. We always do that. I think no team ever doesn't do that. And we need a DH and a righty bat. We lost Jock. That's gonna be a huge loss for us. I think we were the number 2 team in the league in DH WAR behind only the Los Angeles Otanis. So I think we're going to look for some bargain basement like thing there. They're obviously fan base kind of wants to bring Goldie back for that situation. Obviously wouldn't be a bad thing. We still need probably a lefty DH bat in its core. I think from a want perspective, we need a first baseman. If we were to spend money, which I don't think we will, it's to bring Walker back. But again, that's a want, not a need. I think for us to be realistically competitive, we're going to do it, but I just don't think the team views it that way. I imagine that we'll try and roll in with probably Pavin Smith playing first and just kind of see where the cards like fall down. But I mean, outside that, the team's pretty much kind of set. You could tell at second. You have Perdomo at short, Gino at third. You have Gabby at catcher. We're probably going to get another new backup. Outfield is going to be some combination of Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll, Lourdes Gurriel, Jake McCarthy. So outfield's in a good spot. It's really just first base, DH, and the bullpen. I mean, I know we were 29th in starting pitcher WAR, but we have 6 starters, and with the team being as tight with the purse as we are, we're not going to bring up another one. I saw a report that we're trying to get rid of Montgomery really badly, but even then, we still
You might have to package him with
pitchers.
Corbin Carroll, dude. Like,
Yeah. I mean, he's offering to even eat the money on it. That's how badly Kendrick wants this guy off the team. But even not counting him, we still have a starting 5 rotation. It's Gallen, Kelly, Fat, Ryan Nelson, and Eduardo Rodriguez. We have young guys still coming up through the majors. I mean, I don't think it's good, but I just don't think the team's going to spend on a pitcher when we already have currently on the roster 6 MLB kind of proven guys. We just need the pitchers to pitch better. And most of these guys I mentioned, with the exception of Ryan, they have a track record that would indicate that you could expect them to pitch better. They just need to play better. But I think that's kind of the big thing. Also, who knows? Maybe we'll get a cash injection. It's not an election year, so Kendrick's not going to be losing money to Lauren Bobbert's congressional race. So that's another plus for us. So maybe there's some extra spend. I don't know if this is clear, but I hate our owner.
I mean, it's hard not to, if you're a D-backs fan, to not hate Ken Kendrick. And what's really interesting is Zach Gallen enters free agency after this year. And so, Murph, do you think that there's a chance, if things are kind of
He's
going
gone.
south, that you guys deal him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And
I don't picture a scenario though where we're bad enough that we're selling at the deadline. Really, I mean, this past season was about as awful as you could have expected from an injury standpoint, and we were kind of out of the playoff spot for a little bit, but we still kept everyone. We didn't really deal at the deadline. It's tough to envision them punting the last year because, I mean, the philosophy of the team hasn't changed. It's just get in and hope to get lucky, basically. So, yeah, it's tough to see a future where we're selling. But, yeah, I mean, there's no secret. Gallen signed with Boris. We're not going to bring him back. he's gone. But that I think just puts even more pressure on. It's gonna be a little bit of a mini reset after next year because losing Gallon and I think Merrill Kelly is out as well.
Oh, well.
The while the position players are still super young, like the pitching's been the problem, and we're gonna lose like the top line guys. That's a problem.
I mean, you know what's crazy? Their prospect pipeline, it's actually upside down. Their top guys are definitely, they're in the majors like Alec Thomas, Corbin Carroll. These are like things that, anybody saw coming. Drew Jones is obviously in the wings as well to kind of fill out that outfield. It's like, and what's crazy is they had mostly like good pitching prospects like Brandon Pfaadt, Dre Jameson. Like these guys are supposed to be like not like aces, but like they're supposed to be a solid part of the rotation.
And Jameson will be back next year. He had Tommy John.
Tommy John, so he'll be back. But like, yeah, that was the weird part. I was more enamored with D-backs like pitching. Like I was like, oh, these guys are good, and that minor league, what was that freaking the Pacific, is it Pacific League
PCL,
or
yeah.
Pacific
PCL
Coast
where it's
League.
just where they're just like teeing off and it's just mashing bombs constantly. If you could keep like a 3-5 in there, I'm like, you're major league grade, dude, because they're just teeing off in there. Like 3-5 is good enough to be the best pitcher in the PCL. And so I was seeing the results they were getting. I was like, these guys must be good. I was like, damn, okay. And then it just kind of, Brandon Pfaadt, or as I like to call him, Brandison Fungarner, in the playoffs last year in 23 was incredible. But like, I think that's the thing is like Murph, I wouldn't rule out these pitchers coming up and being nails all of a sudden, just like, like that. And just all of a sudden like figuring it out. Like Gallon was like that. Zach Godley was like that. He had that one weird season where he was like, sinkers were in vogue and like Zach Britton got a contract out of it. Like I still remember that. Godley was doing well with that. And so you guys are able to pull pitching out and just kind of like, and this is the team that drafted like Trevor Bauer, Max Scherzer. Like you guys know how to deal with homegrown pitching. Like, so
most of the pitchers we drafted did better with other teams. And you throw Anthony Banda in that list too now. So there's a lot of frustration there. I will say, Godley,
Thanks again.
Yeah.
Shout
So
out.
mad. And Hudson.
Huddy.
But no, Godley, man, I've never seen a pitcher that gets more movement than he does. It's just a shame he couldn't, keep anything in the strike zone ever. The balls moved too much even for him. But man, that dude had just some wicked movement. That was a fun year.
Also,
but
Murph,
unfortunately-
that's not fair to say. Patrick Corbin was definitely better with you guys than he was with the Nats if we're counting all the years. And he cost you way less money than he cost the Nats. And then
Fun
Robbie
fact,
Ray, I would argue.
Patrick Corbin was better than Jordan Montgomery last year, this past season.
That's not surprising, but like, must have been pretty close.
Wow.
Like.
I had Corbin briefly on my fantasy team. He was rosterable. I don't remember Jordan Montgomery.
Because that fantasy league does not punish anything. Like literally, like if you have a Jordan Montgomery day, like it's like your batter struck out 3 times. Like this fantasy, I'm like, don't get us started on
I
this
think
fantasy
we're
league.
undefeated versus Patrick Corbin since he went to the Nationals.
I don't think a lot of teams are defeated against Patrick Corbin. Okay, like,
Well, the Dodgers in the playoffs were.
okay, yeah, fair enough. But like, you just paid 9 figures for one pitcher in one playoff
One
run.
playoff
And
run. But,
yeah.
I mean, hey,
Do you
good
think they
playoff run.
regret Corbin's contract or Strasburg's more?
definitely Corbin's. Because
Really?
they couldn't even move that thing.
Well, Strasburg's not even pitching. Like at least
Well,
Corbin.
Strasburg, you can try to sue to get out of it. Corbin, there's no legal injunction for that kind of play, dude. Like, that is. Whew.
I want to get my money back. Why? He asked.
Yeah, so no, Murph, I want to really. You guys do have a good track record with pitching. Like Robbie Ray is a Cy Young winner, right? Like,
Not with
he
us.
did win those things, right? Not with you guys, but like, Patrick Corbin, Robbie Ray, Zach Godley. I remember these names. I remember that lineup. That was a good team. So, you never know. It could shake out differently. Okay,
For
on
sure.
to
I
less
don't-
depressing.
I don't expect us to make any moves though. Basically, is all I'm saying. Like, if we make a move, it's retaining Walker. Like, we're not spending money outside that.
I think you guys are getting Goldschmidt back. Only because there's not going to be any buyers.
I do
But-
think it's gonna be a low market, but I think Grievitz mentioned it. I mean that he is also a classic Angels And classic Angels move.
Are we just gonna spend this whole episode just bagging on the Angels? Because that's
Probably.
Man.
Yeah.
It'll be a longest episode yet.
Also,
Yeah, I know.
technically,
It'll never end.
I will say Corbin was developed by the Angels. We traded him, I think, for Skaggs. We
Yikes.
developed Skaggs, and we got Corbin back. I think that was the trade.
Freaking
But-
yikes.
Corbin, yeah. We didn't develop Corbin, technically, is all I'm saying.
Okay. But like he spent time in your guys' organization, like minor league organization,
Yeah.
right? And came up. So yeah, I feel like you guys do worse with the pitchers you acquire than you do the pitchers you home grow. Cause like even Zach Greinke that first year, he was terrible before he started to like get better. And then Taiwan Walker, I shouldn't do this. Shelby Miller, like it's a long list, Murph. Anyway.
We traded for Shelby Miller in the world's worst trade ever done.
That was Ender Inciarte, Dansby Swanson
Yeah.
for Shelby Miller, who
A 23-year-old outfielder who plays Gold Glove defense and was hit 300 his last year with us, and the number one
overall
I don't know,
pick in the
prospect.
MLB
Yeah.
draft.
But hey,
What do
Shelby
you
Miller,
guys
you got to
use?
pull the trigger. It's
17. Anytime you can get 17 losses,
Then he
that's a
pitched well
winning
for you
baseball
guys,
player right there. We got to get him.
which is brutal. Honestly, I think we offered that same deal for the Marlins guy,
Jose Fernandez.
Yeah, Jose Fernandez.
R.I.P.
And then we just were like, oh, Shelby Miller, basically the same guy.
I still remember giving Murph a bunch of crap. Like, you guys killed Jose Fernandez because if you traded for him, he wouldn't have been on that boat. And
We
like,
tried. Yeah, I mean, he would have done that in Lake Havasu.
yeah, and he wouldn't have died because it's Havasu. Like, he probably would have hit the ground. All right, so we got to get off the D-backs thing
Yes.
to a team that's actually going to make moves, the Los Angeles Dodgers. And Dan, I'm curious about your perspective. Like, what do you think we need to get?
I think most of what we should do is retain guys. I want us to keep Teo. I want us to keep Trinan. I think we should go. I do like hearing the rumors of us going to get a shortstop. I do think, like you were saying, I think the contracts that they're talking about for Adames are pretty darn high. But I think he would be a good addition to the team, just not at that number. And I think I think a shortstop would make sense and a pitcher would make sense. Which Roki Sasaki would be a pretty good pitcher to slot into that slot now that he's getting posted.
On our last episode, we actually said he's not getting posted because there's nothing in it for the MPB team, the Chiba Lotte Marines, to do anything about that. Like they would get hosed.
Yep.
Here's my theory. Andrew Friedman loaded up 50 million in crypto on a stick and had it like shadily shipped to Tokyo. And that's how we're getting him posted because we know where he's going. He's coming straight to us. Like, it's crazy. I can't believe they posted him. And
Yeah.
I think that's one big thing about Japanese culture that we keep forgetting. And like, Shohei came over here and he took less money, and there was no guarantee that there was a $700 million deal waiting for him at the end of his thing, and he just didn't care. Like, it was not about the money. And that's something I keep forgetting about these Japanese ball players. Like, it's not about the money. For a lot of them, it's not about the money. And it's about competing at the highest level. And their desire to, be in the MLB outweighs that, And, shout out to Yoshi. He at least waited till 25 to get his bag. But Shohei came over and didn't, he signed another similar, like, international bonus pool kind of amateur deal. And Roki's going to get the same thing. And I really think it is about, like, national pride, personal pride, like personal will to compete. I think I see a lot more in Japanese pitchers because there is no like agent culture. Like there's really no agent culture in NPB. I think you're allowed to have agents, but like the agent can only have one client in Japan. Like that's the rule. So like there's not really like agencies. It's just like your agent who's like your one person. And even then they kind of forgo that. So it's a really interesting like different culture in Japan, and I keep forgetting about that. And I get reminded with these like kind of like, whoa, this is an economic inefficiency in the orders of like tens of millions of dollars. Like, why are they doing this? And it means more to them to do right by their player and that player's wishes than it does to make a bunch of money off of it. And so I respect that a lot. You know, like we're going to be talking about Japan a lot on this pod if we're going to talk about baseball, because that's the way it's kind of trending, guys. Like, do you guys see the numbers for the World Series viewership? More
Oh,
Japanese
well.
people watch this stuff than we do, which is
That makes sense.
yeah.
Also,
Shohei Ohtani in the World Series.
I think San Diego had a higher market share watching than New York. No, I'm dead serious. I'm pretty sure it was LA was first, San Diego was second.
Did all of them watch their TV through the grate in the ceiling, like in the SpongeBob thing? You know, like is that? Man, I will never get over how much that city hates us. It's so much fun. Yeah. So you're more of like a Dan. You're thinking retain. Like
I'm thinking retain, but I do think we'll get another starter. Probably Roki now that he's been posted, but yeah, before that I was thinking one of the other arms floating around, like one of the top arms floating around there. And I didn't think we were going to go after Corbin Burns as hard as other teams would, but one of the top arms. But now that Roki's posted, I think that'll be that. And I do think we will try to give Adames that big contract, which I am worried about. I hope that Cohen outbids us for him, which has been the rumor. Even though they already have a shortstop, but it sounds like the rumors I've heard are that they're trying to do what the Padres did and just acquire more shortstops. And I think they were talking about putting him at third. Which
You know what's
okay,
so weird?
I would prefer that because as much as I do like Adames, I think that 9 figures is a lot for him, especially at this point in his career.
The funny part is the Padres almost feel like the opposite of the Yankees, where the Padres just make a ton of insane moves every year and try and accumulate all the shortstops in the world and then play them in other positions, while the Yankees acquire a bunch of people that can't play defense at all and then throw them into important positions and then wonder why their team can't do basic shit. So yeah, it's kind of two sides of the same coin.
Well, there's a reason one of those series was a lot harder than the other.
yeah. I mean, while Murph was talking, you know what like video keeps playing in my head is JCJ trying to dig out that ball at third base like out of the ground from Volpe, and it's just like he looks like he's never played third base before. He's like,
Because he hasn't.
what are you doing there? Should you be in the outfield somewhere? Like you need to go touch grass. Why are you on a base? Like what? Yeah, that was some good stuff. I'm totally As far as the Dodgers, I'm thinking Roki for sure. I think we were trying to make Teo work by moving Mookie to second and possibly having kind of a outfield by committee situation, because you'd rather have outfield by committee than shortstop by committee, and that's
Right.
where maybe you stick Edmund there full time or you put him back in center field and figure out the shortstop situation. But I thought it was really mostly like all these moves, that roster shuffling and positional flexibility that we're doing is really just kind of open up the market a little bit and kind of like, let the air out and start making some bids, like to like gas up prices for mostly Steve. But and I think that's kind of what we're doing is just like, yeah, no, we're in on Soto. It's like, no, you're not.
Just a little 500 mil low ball offer
Yeah,
just to
we're
get
just
the
gonna
gears.
550 over 15 years. What do you think? It's just like 15 years. I'm gonna be 41 when this thing is over. Like 550 is gonna be worth like 250 million by the time I'm 40. Like, but I think that's kind of what it's like looking like. And yeah, I think eventually we will get Teo back, only because it's such an emotional thing. It's like weirdly, this is the one time where it's kind of not a business, and it's because he's productive. He's probably going to fairly cost control. Like it's not going to be anything crazy.
Yeah.
And unless like the Red Sox decide this is their year and they're going to go all in, which is what I kind of predicted 2 weeks ago. Come on, guys! Like, pick it up. Pretend you care. Yeah,
They're also in the Soto rumors. They're one of the six teams in on it.
Oh yeah, that's great. They're taking a meeting.
I can't see the Red Sox spending. I think if anything, they're going to throw a bunch of money during the winter break to establish Liverpool's position at top of the table. That'd be my guess. Like they only really seem to focus on one sport at a time, and I feel like they're going to push in with Liverpool, and the Red Sox are going to be kind of forgotten.
Well, it's the year for it with how bad Arsenal's been recently and City. So, yeah, makes sense.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about my team. So anyway,
What team is that?
you're
You
I
know?
don't have a team.
You're below Burnmouth. If you're wondering.
Where are we in football championship yet, or are we like? Have we been relegated yet?
No, the new manager's good. I can't wait to see how you screw it up.
We'll probably just blame everything on him, kind of like we did with the last three. So, God, lost my train of thought. That team is so bad. Oh my God, it's painful, and it's like the only sport that Eunice watches besides baseball. So she'll be like, "Oh, like Manchester United won." I'm like, "Oh, really?" That's crazy.
I did see
Probably
Bruno
isn't.
Fernandez helped save someone on an airplane. So, at least.
That's the biggest winner you had in 4 years.
Yep. Good job.
Good job, Bruno. Thank you, brother.
I was impressed actually when I heard that story, just because I assumed if he like went up towards anyone, he just instinctively fall on the ground, grabbing his face.
Oh, okay. All right. We should have like a scoreboard of like teams that we hit, and it's like Angels, and then have like a tally next to it, and then like Manchester United and have like a little tally next to it. Okay. So Roki is coming, and is there any doubt that he's going anywhere besides LA?
I would think not really. There's definitely, there's so many reports coming out now. Like I saw one that was like, oh, he might want to go to a smaller market because of the backlash he's getting in Japan. Like he doesn't want to get that here. But yeah, I think all that's just muddying the waters. I think he's coming for the Dodgers. I think he wants to join the Shohei and Yoshi, create a trio with them and just have a grand old time in LA. And I think we're ready to accommodate him.
Wait, backlash he's getting in Japan because we're a big market team?
No, there's been some backlash because of him leaving MPB so young and like helping drive like the trend of stars leaving younger and younger. I forget who it was, but yeah, like there's a few like of the old guard coming out and sort of criticizing him, but yeah, I think despite that he's gonna come to us. And
I honestly wouldn't count out the Padres. Like there've been a lot of talks about the Darvish connection that he has, and AJ Preller will do a line of coke and just throw money at people randomly. So you just really have to. I don't know. I think it's always tough to count out the Padres because I can't think of a team that does like more just absolutely insane deals like at the last second when they were never in on a guy than the Padres. Like they are very aggressive.
that's fair, but I think because he's subject to the international pool money, I think there's not that much like. I think ultimately, even if he does, like the question was whether he was going to be subject to the 2024 or the 2025 pool money, and we have more than anyone else in 2024. But I think for 2025, it's an even playing field. But that just means that any other team, like we could match their offer if we wanted to.
Well, but it's also I brought up the Darvish connection. Like
Yeah,
I think,
fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just something to think about. I feel very confident in saying he's gonna be in California.
I think that's a fair assumption. Speaking of which,
That means
with
the Sacramento
Darvish,
A's.
God, no, don't do that.
They're just the Athletics now.
Okay.
Sorry,
They're the A's. Hey. Speaking of which, so I think Darvish is actually kind of upset at Preller and the Padres, and I think there was actually that kind of came out earlier in the 24 season where he was expecting Preller to make the big move to land Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Shohei Ohtani to kind of create this kind of Japanese block in San Diego. So if there was ever a time for this guy to do like 5 balls of coke and like start signing some checks, that was the time. And he didn't even get an offer out. He didn't even get in the same room with these guys. And I think the fact that he made like zero effort is what really hacked off Darvish. So I would not be surprised if Darvish and the front office are like not on the best terms when it comes to courting free agents and signing deals, just because of what happened last year. And he kind of probably sees it a little bit as like a lost cause. And if anything, we could always use an extra arm. He looked pretty good last year. Like, just to trade him to us, I don't care. Like, finish the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, just get him over here. We are Samurai LA, okay? Like, I don't care. Like,
I mean, I think you're being a little wishful with the Darvish rift. I always took most of the Padres like weird in action last year just because of the whole uncertainty and everything else that happened after Seidler dying.
Yeah, that's how I read it.
That's a fair read. Yeah, I think that's a better read. But Darvish was probably like, damn, would have been nice to have those guys. Like, and especially the Japanese teammates, because he is kind of the elder statesman of that team now. And which is queer. It's crazy to think about. Darvish is the elder statesman of anything. I feel so old saying that. But he is the elder statesman of that new generation of Samurai Japan players. So, yeah, that's pretty. That's kind of more what I'm seeing on that front. But like, they can make it up to him by getting Roki, I think. And honestly, it's not going to cost them a whole lot if they can land him. But and to Mer's point, I did read those articles saying that Darvish and Sasaki do have a pretty close relationship. So again, not ruling it out, but what do you have, like CTE or something? Like, get your ass over here. Like, speaking of CTE, let's move on to football. It's been a pretty interesting couple weeks here. What's going on? You guys have the NFC North has guys. What's going
Played
on
out a
here?
little.
We need a little NFC North preview going on here, guys. So,
Well, last we checked in on the NFC North, there was we were talking about the Bears and the Vikings and how they both seemed to be outperforming.
frauds.
well, the fraud
Yeah.
are one game in front of you right now. So,
I think
Well.
speaking to Grievous's point, though, like we can officially just write the book on the Bears frauds. They're going to fire
Completely.
Eberflus. They're going to give Caleb Williams a second head coach OC in 2 years, just like they did to Trubisky and Fields. So just more incompetence, down the line for the Bears. And I think the other thing that we were talking about also was, Darnold had that hot start, and then he was going to turn into a pumpkin. I mean, pumpkin status activated. That game against the Jags are a miserable defense. That was an awful game. I know they won anyway, but certainly had nothing to do with him. It's looking more and more like he's the same old Darnold. Same thing that he did with Carolina. He can look good. I think good coaching can make him look good for stretches, but people pick up on his tendencies very quickly, and then he, reverts back to his usual self. Man, that would have been really nice for the Lions to have dropped that Texans game. I don't know how they pulled that off, but yeah, it's looking more and more like it's the Lions. The Lions will take the division. I think we'll comfortably end up in second. That's kind of my read at the moment.
that's
with the
spicy. That's
division.
spicy. Thinking that the Packers are going to come in second.
And I don't know about the Vikings if they hold on to a playoff spot or not.
I mean, Sam Darnold threw 3 picks, and that defense still made the Jaguars look like a bunch of college football players. So,
It was Mac
Yeah, because it's the
Jones.
Jaguars.
yeah, I mean, they kind of are just a bunch of college football players.
I mean, it's Mac Jones. Like, they don't have Christian Kirk. Like, they lost their whole receiving corps over the last couple of weeks. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I would be surprised if the Vikings end up ahead of us as well. I think, yeah, the teams are trending in different directions. Like we lost the Lions game, but mostly because of through our own doing, we kept shooting ourselves in the foot that whole game. But we are closer to the Lions than we are to the Vikings.
I mean, you guys also barely edged the Jaguars as well, right? Like, that was a close game. And was that Malik Willis behind center?
Malik Willis, though.
Yeah. So maybe I'll give you guys a pass there.
Also,
but
Trevor Lawrence played that game. Like, Trevor Lawrence is much, much better than Mac Jones.
yeah, fair enough.
McCorkle.
Yeah. I mean, my read of this is playoff team wise, you're going to get 2 from the East. I don't know, Eagles or Commanders. I think you're going to get probably us and the Lions from the North. I think Falcons probably going to take the South. And then that last playoff spot, you're talking about Vikings. And then I'd probably throw in any of the NFC West teams. It's going to be the Vikings versus the NFC West for that last playoff spot. That's my NFC prediction / read.
Wait, am I tripping, or does each division not get a champion?
They do. They all do. I'm just
Okay.
saying the South, it's just going to be the division winner. The
Uh-huh.
West, any of those three teams that doesn't win the division are could make a run. I expect the Niners to eventually win the division, so I kind of expect Cardinals to eke out to pip the Vikings.
That was what I was gonna say. Yeah, I like how the Cardinals are looking.
Really interesting.
Kyler looks good. He's starting to get a connection with Marvin Harrison Jr., James Conner. The offense looks good, just across the board. I think we all expected that defense to be trash, but they've only, they've barely given up more points than the Niners. That's, they can survive, basically. And
Fair enough.
having that win versus the Niners is obviously going to be a huge feather in their cap going forward too.
I mean,
so-
and also a matchup thing, yeah, like a head-to-head thing. Yeah, you want that. Merv, Dan, Lamar Jackson, MV3.
Well, it should be MV2. He didn't deserve last year's, but yes.
Oh my
He won
God,
the league MVP this year.
are you kidding me?
It should have been McCaffrey last year. If you were going to go quarterback, they should have gone Dak or Josh Allen.
Dak Prescott, NFL MVP. Do you know how you sound right now?
It's a regular season.
It is a
award.
regular season.
It's a regular season award. How about this regular season? Say that in Dallas right now and see what happens. You know,
Well, yeah,
you might
Dak's
get
been-
beaten.
Dak's been objectively awful this year before, he obviously had a season-ending injury. But no, I mean, Lamar absolutely did not. His passing stats were horrible. I think passing in the league entirely was down. You look through anything, like EPA per play, any, adjusted net yards per attempt, passer rating, those would all be, it's easily the worst MVP selection of the last 10 years.
Yeah, but he's electric to watch.
It's irrelevant when you're not putting up anything.
He's
People
great.
Didn't he
right,
already surpass his passing total from last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he has more passing touchdowns too. He wasn't good last year. He was good, but he wasn't MVP good. I guess is what I'm saying. There was no MVP worthy season. I thought the 2021 MVP was kind of soft. The one that Rodgers beat out Brady. Those are at least Brady had some volume. Rodgers' efficiency was but I thought that was a weaker MVP, and that was so much better than what Lamar put up last year. I think if you're going to give a non-quarterback the award, that was the time to do it. And Christian McCaffrey, I think, got absolutely snubbed. And yeah, if you're going to go quarterback, though, Josh Allen had 15 more touchdowns than him. It's almost won a game. That's an absurd difference. And Dak had the more traditional, great touchdown interception ratio, number one scoring offense. I don't know why Lamar got it because his defense was number one in the league.
Okay. Yeah,
yes.
wins are not a QB stat here.
I don't want to dump on Lamar because he's been absolutely sensational this year, and he absolutely deserves the MVP as of right now. Yeah,
Colin, I edit this podcast, so what I can do is just kind of make it sound like you're talking about him this year, and tell people that Dak deserves the MVP, and I'm just gonna clip that soundbite out and then graft it into it. Yeah, and Dak deserves the MVP.
actually, wouldn't
more
mind
than
if you
Lamar.
did that though, because people just assume I'm trolling because everyone hates the Cowboys. So that still doesn't make me look horrible.
Yeah, that's true. I love the Dallas Cowboys this year. I cannot get over just how immaculate the vibes have been in the NFC East. Aside from the commies, who we will put in their place this week, it's a lot of fun to see. Dak. You know what, guys? I need to stop predicting things. Actually, I just realized.
Your predictions have been awful.
They've been patently awful. I need to stop predicting things before we end up in the apocalypse. Okay, because I've already destroyed democracy 2 weeks ago. It's not a great run, guys. On that note, I'm gonna bomb my LSAT, and it's gonna be so bad. Yeah, no, the Cowboys have just been incredible. So what's your guys' take on that Micah Parsons situation when he was yeah, Mike McCarthy, which by the way, old friend of the Packers, Mike McCarthy, he was can I pull this up? I want to
I have
pull
no
up this.
ill will to McCarthy. He wants a championship. He got stale. We moved on and we upgraded.
I have no ill will toward him either, but I did find it funny when the Cowboys hired him.
Yeah.
Because he did get stale. By the time he left, it was we got to move on and get someone better, and then
Jerry's like, that's for me, baby.
yeah,
who put this half-eaten sandwich in the trash? Like, there's plenty of good sandwich here.
I just don't know how you could be staring down potentially getting Bill Belichick and be like, Mike McCarthy, that's who I want. Like,
No, I bet you Kraft said something about that, like about
I mean,
like Belichick
Belichick
being like
was-
an egomaniac or something crazy. Like,
yeah, but Kraft and Jerry Jones hate each other, so I don't
That's
know if
fair.
that would have helped anything either. Aren't they
I
in,
think
like,
Jerry
a-
just doesn't want to give up control over the team.
I think that was the big
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
No, because I'm pretty sure Kraft and Jerry Jones are in a pissy match over who gets inducted in the NFL Hall of Fame first.
oh,
And because Kraft's been pretty public about wanting to go in before Jerry.
that's a
and
no doubt.
Jerry's been swiping. It's like the most out of touch billionaire petty shit I think you've ever heard.
I mean, out of touch billionaire petty shit kind of describes what billionaires do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, not you got to be a little bit more specific.
Speaking of out of touch billionaire shit, the Windows fiasco with the Cowboys Stadium this week.
Oh
With-
yeah, dude, that sounds like the Cowboys are the media gift that keeps giving.
Jerry
You have
just
CeeDee Lamb complaining about the glare, and that they need to get curtains in there. Like
they
that is
have
incredible.
curtains.
Yeah,
And they just
have
didn't-
curtains,
they
just
didn't
don't
put
use
the
them.
curtains
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, they just refuse to use them because Jerry likes how it looks on TV.
Oh my gosh.
They're there. They use them for like concerts and other sports, but for football like Jerry's was like, what was it? What did he say? Like, oh, we might as well tear the stadium down.
Yeah. The 90s stereotypical bandwagon though, it's been a rough month and a half for them or whatever. You know, Yankees lost, Cowboys are in shambles. Bronny James just got benched in the G League. It's just tough all the way around.
Ronnie getting benched in the G League is not some sort of Lakers are in shambles. Okay, that is something that was supposed to happen like 3 weeks ago. Okay, like we're not doing that. Like Bronny and LeBron playing together was a great look. I loved it.
No, it wasn't.
I thought it was cute. Okay, like that's a
It
good,
was
feel good
pretty
moment.
gimmicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gimmick, but like I like the gimmick. All right, and then just like send him back. All
It
right.
was masturbatory. It was
What was
my
nice
God.
about when it happened, like with the Griffies, like what was cool about it was that they were both good.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
earned their spots. I guess
Yeah.
Senior was kind of on his way out a little bit, but like was still a
Yeah,
serviceable
but-
outfielder.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Ronnie,
to me, it's just not cool when like there's no merit based behind the decision like at all. Like he wouldn't start for any halfway decent college team either. Like
Sir, excuse me,
you guys were
Okay.
awful last year and he didn't start.
dude. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Also-
I'm not gonna try to pretend that Bronny is some sort of NBA player,
quick
and
quick
I'm not gonna
pivot.
pretend that he's gonna develop into one. He's like 6'3", dude. Like, come on.
Big Ten buyer remorse. With the LA schools, USC maybe not bowl eligible
this
this
is why
year.
we got calling him. Mike.
UCLA or whatever basketball just lost to an unranked team and fell out of the rankings. There's some LA remorse from the Big Ten here. Should they have taken Stanford and Cal instead? They poached the
Wow.
wrong California teams.
How do I disconnect somebody from this chat?
I think Juju Watkins by herself is worth the investment for.
I agree. She's the next Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Oh no, that name doesn't sound Caitlin Clarkish.
Wow. Casual racism. Why you joined this show?
You were the one that brought up her popularity for a race, like in the first episode I was on. So
Oh, dude,
you-
just
you
wait till
brought this
34
upon
seconds.
yourself.
I got your racial 34 for the 34 seconds. Man, let's bring this thing home. Real quick. Okay, so I put out a call for you guys to come up with some awards, and Dan actually did his homework, Murph. I don't know if you did, because I sure as hell didn't.
I always do my homework. I'm
Okay.
a great student.
So, Dan, can you tell us what are the categories we're doing for these end of year MLB awards? Like, so we had worst toot plan, right?
Worst two plan, yeah.
Yeah. We had biggest trade deadline nothing burger.
Yeah, that one was
Which
tough because most of the trades were fine.
You know what? I actually had one in mind for that one. Isaac Paredes.
I literally, yep.
I was like,
I have him. This is literally the only thing written on my board.
I was like, it has to be him, because he was so hyped. Like, we were just like, oh, and then when they got him, I was like, him? Why? What's
Yep.
he gonna do for you? Like nothing.
Nothing.
And then he does nothing.
633 OPS.
Isaac Paredes. That was like can't wait to see where he goes. And I was just like, there? What? That was like a clear, like, I'm not making anybody more competitive type of move. Like, yeah, he can leave, but like, we're not making anybody more competitive. Like, yeah, biggest nothing burger. So, biggest nothing burger winner is Isaac Paredes. I was looking for the Derek Jeter Award for most overrated defender. I think Willie Adames wins that one. Like, if I have to hear any more things about, like, he's a great shortstop, he was not a great shortstop last season. He was a horrible shortstop. Like, he was negative defensive runs saved. Like, he's not good. All right, like, I don't know if it's like remember when Bryce Harper was about to be a free agent and his defense just fell off a cliff? Like, he was like negative in the outfield, like so bad. And our theory was that like he was just trying to preserve his body, like he wasn't trying to get hurt the year before he had to sign a massive contract. And
I don't think that's a conspiracy. I think that's 100% what happened.
yeah. So like maybe that's what happened with Thomas. But holy moly, that fall off needs to be studied. Like his defense was really bad last year. Like, yeah. So, but
For that,
Dan,
I answered that question as which Gold Glove finalists were the most unwarranted.
ooh,
That was my version of answering that.
that's a
And
good one.
I think, yeah. I mean, I just wrote the entire AL right fielder selection. I think it ended up going to Soto. I mean, if anything was an example that the outfield should just be like the top 3 outfielders instead of actually doing right field, left field, center field, that was it. Like the entire right field in the AL was horrible. Like no one deserved to be recognized. They should just left it open. But picking Soto because he actually has it, I think he has to be the most overrated because he didn't deserve it, and but no one did.
I mean, Dan, I think we're all on the same page here, right? It's Soto. Like that's
well,
what
Soto,
is he
yeah.
doing there?
Soto has no business being on there. I thought Mason Wynn making it over Frankie Lindor was pretty egregious. Even though Mason Wynn was fine, like he has the cool throwing arm replays, but I think statistically, like Lindor is ahead of him in DRS, outs above average, zone rating, the Fangraphs defensive rating. Like it's literally across the board. Will Smith shouldn't be on there over William Contreras. Sorry, I always mix them up. And Jose Siri should be the center field winner in the AL, and he wasn't even a finalist.
Terang over Cattell, that one.
No,
Ticked me
no.
off.
We watched Terang. We were watching Terang highlights before you came on, and I was like, nah, he deserves it. This guy's insane.
The other thing I'll just say though is like, man, for being in a big market, what is Lindor like secretly an asshole? Because like the media snub him constantly. Like I don't know.
He wasn't an all-star.
Yeah. How did Alonso get the all-star nod over him for one? Like he doesn't even get nominated as like a finalist. Like it's just mind-boggling. Like whatever he's been like, I don't think he's really ever gotten much all-star love, and he's been the best Met of the last several years. Like, what is going on here? Like, New York normally, those teams have a little market bias, if anything.
Yeah.
But Lindor is just getting the shaft year after year after year.
I like that theory that he's secretly an asshole. That would explain a lot. Like the warm, bubbly personality, and turns out he's just awful.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure this out. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Like,
I think
he's getting no love.
So he had a pretty bad first half. Had a 784 OPS. Like that by his standards, that is not great. Yeah, he
Still
wasn't
more
exactly
deserving than
killing it out there.
Alonso. Alonso was horrible.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
Alonso might have been the opposite, right? Like
No.
started hot and
Alonso
fell.
was like 8th in NL first base WAR, like
Oh,
at
nice.
the All-Star thing.
Of
Like,
course.
obviously
We all
it was a
know.
big
We all
deal
know
in
who
the Dim- in the
Colin was
Diamondbacks
watching.
stuff.
We all know
Yes.
who Colin wanted to get that thing. He was just
Yes.
waiting
Christian Walker was objectively much better than him.
over Freddie fucking Freeman. Yeah, that's
No, not over Freeman. What's it called?
Okay.
Like he should have been the backup over
Oh,
Alonso.
yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah,
all I'm
fair.
saying.
That's
like
fair.
I'm not like a horrible homer. Like I recognize that Freddie Freeman was like absolutely like he's in MVP talks and stuff. Like, but yeah, I mean Pete Alonso put him next to Christian Walker. Like, dude. Also, Lavella was the manager. You can't pull one for your boy. Like,
You can't because it looks bad. And then also, you know what it really was Ken Kendrick making the phone call to Lavella saying, Lavella, if you turn him into an all-star the year before he becomes a free agent, I swear to God, I will cut your nuts off and feed it to his dog. Like, he's probably just like trying to save money by not giving him an all-star nod. So, part of the course, like I'm pretty sure that came from a higher pay grade than where he's at. Shout out to
my
Mike Parsons.
conspiracy theory is the MLB wanted Alonso for the home run derby, and they wanted to make him an all-star to make that like plausible. Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. Like, dude, they could, put like the whole Dodger Stadium backdrop. Walker would have crushed that.
just borrow our batter's eye and like the Estrella Jalisco sign. We're good.
Walker looks like a man who enjoys himself in Estrella Jalisco. You know?
I love Spectrum Sportsnet. It's the best. Yeah, I don't know why he hits so well at our place. And it's not even like he's spraying it to that little left kitty corner, like the left field kitty corner.
The
where
Ahmed
it's like,
porch?
yeah, the Ahmed porch.
Yeah, porch.
Or Ahmed corner. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah. So, no, Walker just hates us and loves destroying the Dodger fan experience. Dan, you have videos for us. Like,
yeah.
What am I watching here? What are we watching here?
These are my 3 nominees for the Toot Plan of the Year.
Okay, so we're gonna nominate one here, Murph. But let's start with this wonderful display.
I'll be honest, I misread the question, and I did like the worst two plans in MLB history, and so I had the Dodgers committing 2 outs at home on the same play.
Oh God.
If you guys remember that one? Back
Yeah, in the
day.
playoffs. Horrible.
Yeah. Puig on an infield fly, overrunning second and getting tagged out like an idiot. Colton Wong getting picked off to end the World Series game. And I think my personal favorite, Gene Segura stealing first. He was on second, gets held up or whatever. The guy on first comes over. They're both on second. Obviously, Segura, because he had the base, he held precedence, so he wasn't out. The other guy was. But Segura then sprints back to first base. So he got caught in a rundown and lost a base. They started first and second, no out, and they end the man on first, like with an out. Segura becomes, like, to my knowledge, the only person who's stolen backwards a base.
That is,
I remember that
pretty
one.
good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. These are good. These are good. Dan, pick some winners. So we're gonna Murph, out of these 3, if you don't mind, we're gonna pick one. Okay. So let's start with this one. All right.
I hate this Tigers logo, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's the best. It's the best. That's what a tiger looks like, boys.
Tigers are purple.
Yeah.
The Tiger City Connect that looks like they were run over.
Here's Paul DeJong of the Chicago White Sox.
Man, I feel like you just put White Sox for every blunder. There's probably like a whole collage of them.
This was incredible. It was to end the game. This was the final out of the game.
Final 2 outs.
Yeah, final 2 outs of the game. Sorry, yeah. So, yeah.
So he was barely even in the screen.
Good God. All right. So that's one.
Look at that
that was-
stadium. True sellout.
White Sox, Tigers, pre-Tigers run.
This is the one that was on Instagram and made the rounds, but let's switch it out for this one. Hold on.
Good old Bally Sports.
Good old Bally Sports, Diamond Sports Group. All right, this is the Julio Rodriguez. What the hell are you doing?
Your boy, you know.
I know. I own some very valuable Julio Rodriguez baseball cards.
Well, less now.
Yeah, less so now. Not as jazzed. So this is him trying to, like, I guess, dodge the bat and then doesn't know where he is.
I'll give him a little slack on that, though. Like, dodging the bat. I don't know. At least there's an excuse for, like, what happened there.
I didn't even think, but it is funny that 2 of my 3 candidates are with the Yankees on defense.
That's very charitable of you, Dan. I was going to say, that's very generous of you.
The one I remembered from this year was actually Victor Robles trying to steal home.
that's
also against the Yankees. And it was in that like stretch run, like they lost it, like I think it was like bases loaded, 3-0 count, like 2-run game, and this is part of that series that basically eliminated the Mariners from the playoffs. And dude just tried to steal home.
well. Here's Nats versus Yankees, and this one is incredible. This is really something else. It's just,
Like, what are they doing?
I mean,
Just stay on third.
so fair play to the Yankees here. They made the throws.
It's a 2-1.
This was incredible. So I'm playing this again because I was like, at start I was like, what am I watching? Is
This
it the
is the
Yankees
winner.
screwing up? And I was like, oh God, no, it's really not the Yankees screwing up. So we got an 0-2 count, no outs, man on first and second. All right, and this ball is gonna get hit over Judge's head. So just to show you what you guys are watching here, or to illustrate, the ball bounces over Judge's head, hits the wall, comes back, and now they couldn't get the runner across from second to home. So the runner goes to third and then vacillates between going home and to third, and then gets tagged on the base paths. The runner who was at second, oh God, it's just like no coordination whatsoever. It's like every guy was like, yeah, I'm gonna just do my own thing, and it looks horrible. This might be one of the worst
Yeah,
displays of
I
base running
mean,
I've ever seen.
You have a double like off over the center fielder's head. Like, how are you not scoring? First off, on that, Flores with that
But the guy on
hesitation.
second.
Yeah, the guy on second
like,
should have scored
you should score
ages
easily.
ago.
And then what's it called? The guy who was on first initially, dude, you're on third. Like, why are you running back to second? Like, like just eat it. Like, it's a rundown. It's the majors. I mean, I guess it is the Yankees, but like you expect an out in that situation, like 99% of the time. And then I don't know what the guy on first was doing. Like the moment you see everything else breaking down the way it is, like you got hightail back, but it looked like everyone was kind of like shuffling. That's easily the winner to me, just because you have three people all kind of screwing this up.
It's almost like they were saying, like, well, I can't go home and get nothing off of that. And so they were like, well, in that case, we should just, what we should do is we should try to trick them. Well, I think we should trick them, guy on first. The third base is like, oh, God, they threw me out at home. Like, I can't, I have to go back to third. Oh, there's somebody there. Okay. Like, it's like the worst.
Yeah.
Worst base running I've ever seen. Which one is it, Murph?
It's got to be the last one.
Yeah.
There's just too much going on. Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
we're going
this
with
one, since it's just got a combo of so many things as opposed to individual. Yeah, I think you're right that of the three, the Julio one, at least he has the excuse that the bat flew at him, which is distracting.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a safety element at that one at the very least. That I feel like I can understand kind of being a little off your bearings a little bit. The rest are like cognizant idiots.
I don't know if you can call Paul DeYoung running clear past second on a fly ball cognizant, but sure, yeah.
No, that's what I mean though. Is that like he made a conscious decision or whatever to like make like a horrible play. Like at least Julio Rodriguez like took himself off the bag in a little bit or whatever, trying to dodge the bat, and then like he was really embarrassingly slow and didn't like kind of recognize what was going on. Maybe he thought the ball was foul or something. But at least he's an excuse. No, the other two don't have excuses for why they did what they did. And
there are mitigating factors for Julio. There are none for these other two.
The Paul DeYoung mitigating factor is the 2024 White Sox.
Yeah, that's his mitigating factor. Is that sorry, your team is horrible, and you know what? You should expect to lose every game. Okay, so we did biggest trade deadline nothing burger we got. The Derek Jeter Award for most overrated defender we did. Buyer style MLB teams and competitive, so we'll do that next time. After we get a little bit more signage going on, there's just it's kind of a detente right now, so we need.
Yeah, the only team making
moves
moves is the Angels.
That's not a team. Okay.
Travis d'Arnaud, 2-year deal today.
He's coming home, baby. Travis d'Arnaud, Southern California native, best position player, pitcher, Kike Hernandez.
Kike
Next.
Hernandez.
Yeah. Next question.
Oh no. I'm thinking we have to disagree on that.
Who is it?
Dude, Carson Kelly gave us more value as a
Jesus
position player
Christ.
pitcher than he ever did as a batter. I would have to go with Carson Kelly. No one grooves a 65-mile-an-hour ball like he does.
I was going to shout out Danny Mendick on the White Sox as well, who also outperformed his batting war as a pitcher.
It's not too uncommon for us actually, because Jeff Mathis did the same thing.
But Jeff Mathis was a nothing burger on offense, so that's not fair. He just needed to put up any war.
Also, a fair shout just because of how he perceives himself, but Zach Greinke, who's the shortstop at heart.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Well, if we're gonna play that game, then Shohei Ohtani, who should have been a right fielder, is my favorite position player pitcher. But we're only
No,
doing
he
it for
doesn't
this
play
year.
position.
Alas,
He plays
ineligible for this year.
Yeah, ineligible for this year. And so that should do it, fellas. I think we're coming up on 5. This was a great chill talk. We didn't really I'm gonna have to cut all this stuff. But no, it was great having you guys, and thanks for joining us. Are
we doing a rant?
34 seconds. Yeah, 34 seconds. Okay, you know what? We won't put a time cap on it today because I got one. But Murph, you want to go first?
I'll agree with go first.
All right.
All right. Well, I sort of foreshadowed it with you before the show, but my rant is about Fanatics and the championship gear.
That's right.
They, I don't know if y'all saw the post, but some of the championship gear that Fanatics sent out for the Dodgers literally had the 2023 Texas Ranger signatures on the back of the shirt. And I just, as a fan of sports memorabilia and jerseys and everything, I think Fanatics' just all-encompassing presence in the industry now is just continues to be a scourge and just an embarrassment, really. Like after all the uniform stuff that happened this year with baseball, and I understand that they're also taking over hockey. Like I hate the just slow encroachment of Fanatics, and I will be a vocal hater of them going forward. Unless
As
things
a
drastically change.
collector of cards and memorabilia, Fanatics bought Topps, and it's been pretty bad since. And I've gotten cards with mushroomed corners. I've gotten like just the QC is just like non-existent. Fanatics has just imposed like junk wax on all of us and is like constantly pumping out crap. I'd say the quality of the Topps stuff, there's still like Topps DNA in what they do. And there's, they do make it exciting, so fair play to them. But I think a scourge and embarrassment were the two words that you used that were very apt. I was
Yep.
like, the Dodgers just won the World Series, and wife and I like got jerseys. Like we got our like World Series jerseys. I felt disgusting. I felt like gross giving money to this company because, God, do they cock this up in just a unique way sometimes.
Yeah, I still haven't ordered anything just because it's them. Like I'm like I want to, but I haven't decided what to pull the trigger on. Especially because they have the damn Fanatics logo like front and center on so many of them.
Oh my God, it's so gross, and like their quality is so garbage. Like they are just. It used to be an honor to have the license to produce this stuff, and Majestic, to their credit, made some amazing gear. Okay, like Majestic made awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
And like to see this all kind of go by the wayside, to like have basically white labeled Nike crap, like not even like good Nike stuff. It's like the crappy Nike stuff that's been white labeled for Fanatics for these licenses. And to see like players' jerseys ripping and like the pants being see-through and like their junk showing, like it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like a scourge and an embarrassment is a good way to put how Fanatics have gone for the sports merchandise and memorabilia industry. Murph, you gonna piggyback
What's
here?
it called? I'm just gonna less of a rant, more just gonna pour one out here. Poor Germany. The NFL slate they have gotten brutal.
Do we need to play the taps? Do we need to play the taps?
They had a There we go. Colts Patriots last year, a barn burning 10-6 game out in Frankfurt, and then this year we gave them Danny Dimes and the New York Giants playing basically already quit in the season. Carolina Panthers, Bryce Young starting because Andy Dalton got into a car accident. Like, we could not be giving them worse NFL games. And, you know, those sickos out in Germany are actually selling out the stadium to watch this horrible product. I half believe Tepper or whatever is selling off the Panthers international games because he knows more people will show up internationally than will ever show up in Charlotte. It's just rough out there. I just feel really bad for what we're doing. You know, NFL Europe was basically held down almost exclusively by the German teams. You know, I thought it was kind of, we were a little rude waiting so long to give them the game. You know, so many in London before them. And then we not only, by the time we finally give them a game, we are giving them just these absolutely dog water games. Yeah. I would just like to personally apologize. You know, Germany, I'm sorry. We can do better. The game is doing than this. You know, it's just, you know, kind of rough. I'm sure everyone watching there, you know, it's not, they have Harry Kane, like they have Bayern Munich, like they have what they call football, and it's way better. I normally like American football way better than soccer, but you know, if you're watching Bayern Munich or you're watching Carolina the Giants, you know, give me a Bayern game.
Shout out to the Panthers only being one game behind of the Bears now, by the way. After all the,
by the way, unbelievable. So funny enough, like those Germany games, like they're really bad, but like at least they get to watch NFL games on Sunday or on whenever their day is, like in the evening. So like it's like prime time for them, so they can kind of tune in, get their soccer and get that, you know, and you know, get both, which is like, how awesome would it be to watch our like East Coast teams at like, you know, always at nighttime, you know, it's like guaranteed, you know, instead of a 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. kickoff, it's like 5 p.m., you know, like that'd be awesome. So, I mean, Germany's kind of got it good. I don't want to worry too much about them, but like, yeah, these games are freaking horrible. I'm just like,
no.
And you're making them travel and they're going to be jet lagged. Like, what is this going to be? Like, are you going to play 7-on-7? Like, what is this? Like, I don't want to watch this crap. Like, so yeah, no, I'm totally with you. My rant is a little timely because I came up with it today. My rant is for the NCAA. And today, the NCAA came down with probation for the USC football team for having too many coaches, apparently. I just want to point out just how defunct and morally bankrupt the NCAA is as a governing body. Their corruption and incompetence has led to players literally starving despite being on huge revenue-gaining sports teams, you know, and the NCAA employs, I think, a little bit over 3,100 people, and they bring in close to $1 billion a year. And I posit to you that the NCAA is basically a freaking plantation. Like, it is just one of the most disgusting, like, forms of profiteering over, you know, student athletes who don't even have the time to take advantage of the scholarships that they're granted because they're spending so much time practicing for these revenue-based sports. Like, they can come back, sure, like, and get their degree, but like while they're in school, like, you see football players in class like once every blue moon. You know what I mean? Like, when I was at SD, I would see a football player in class, but most of them, they're in practice. You know, like, they're either like super early morning classes or they're like night classes because they're practicing all freaking day. You know, so like, I just wanted to point out that the NCAA has become basically weaponized as an enforcing body, like an enforcing governing body, through years and years of just like ossified corruption and like just malfeasance all the time. So NCAA, F you, F Mark Emmert, F everybody, and whoever wants to like ride with the NCAA, like F you too. Chino XL, F you too. I can't stand the NCAA. I don't understand why this organization needs to employ 3,100 people. Like, what do they do? Like,
I was actually gonna flip that on you a little bit. Like, you guys got caught with too many coaches when you're battling for 16th in the Big Ten. What are they doing?
So what they're saying is basically our like sideline guys, like our like Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, like constitute coaches because they like talk to our players and stuff. And like, well, you didn't file for that, and it's just like, dude, who cares, bro? Like, we might not even make it to a bowl game this year, and you guys are doing this. You know, like, come on. So I suspect the whistleblower was like, or not even the whistleblower. That's not doing right by people who actually do whistleblowing. The freaking snitches, the rats, were like like jilted ex Pac-12 teams who were just like,
Oh,
yeah, they took their
100%.
bag and
Yeah.
ran. Yeah.
100%. The like Oregon State and Washington State probably have eyes on every single team in the pack. And just-
They're just trying to like bring them down. I'm sure UCLA, the shoe's coming down for them too. You know, like it's definitely like that Pac-12 like collective from last year who was just like, they can't just take their ball and leave. Can't. Oh, they can.
Oh,
Like,
dear. There they go.
Throwing into that a little bit is, oh my God, is there a more annoying program than Colorado? And I'm not even gonna get into the Dion stuff. They leave the Big 12 after making the Big 12 championship game, join the pack or whatever, or absolute dog shit the entire time. Like the worst stretch of their program history. They first
That
year
one
back
year,
in the
that
Big
one year.
12, they're nationally ranked again. This team, they came in here, they absolutely torpedoed the value of the pack by being one of the worst, by being worse than Vanderbilt in that stretch. And then they leave and they automatically get ranked again. This is awful. Like, whatever. What an obnoxious team.
I mean, they did take a big risk bringing in Deion Sanders, and you know,
Still, they were
Pretty much
awful
laying off all
the
their
last year
players.
in the pack with him. And I don't know. Do you think you guys end up bowl eligible? You guys need 2 wins: Nebraska, UCLA, Notre Dame.
I think we win out.
Win
but-
out.
I mean, no, I think we lose out. Sorry,
Oh,
I
okay.
forgot. Prediction, needs to switch. I think we lose out. We don't win a single freaking game, including UCLA, and yeah, we're not bowl eligible or whatever. We're gonna get sanctioned. You know, like just, at this rate, the NCAA is gonna sanction us out of a bowl game. Like, oh, you want to go to the Meineke Car Care Bowl? Like, that sucks. We don't want you there. Like, shout out to Meineke Car Care Bowl. Nothing down on you guys. We're just having a down year. Yeah, screw the NCAA, dude. Screw them, man. And for starving Shabazz Napier, shame on y'all. Shame on y'all. On national television, this guy just won the NCAA championship, and he's talking about how he's hungry and doesn't know if he's gonna get something to eat. Okay, like that's the kind of organization you are. Like, just
That
you
did
guys are
lead
the
to one of my-
SEC for poor people. Like, what the
That's-
hell? Like,
That did lead to one of my favorite like interviews when the head of the NCAA was talking about how they switched the rules and how you were allowed to have a bagel, but if you had a bagel with cream cheese, that counted as a meal. That was not allowed. He's like, so we just had to clean up the rules between snacks and things. I was like, what? Like, what?
I can't believe this organization employs 3,100 people. Do you know that 12% of their employees are from Notre Dame? You know, that's a real, like,
Wow.
conflict of interest, don't you think? Like, oh, Notre Dame gets to negotiate their own TV rights. They get to do it whatever the hell they want because they're Notre Dame. Interesting.
I mean,
you know, like,
what's called? You can't stop Catholics and kids. That might have to get cut.
but you know what I'm saying? Like, screw, dude, what the hell? Like, just, you guys don't find this kind of smelly? 3,100 people employed to figure out whether a cream cheese on a bagel constitutes a meal? Like, can we talk about just weaponized incompetence, weaponized corruption? Like, just like literally coaches snitching on coaches and like tattling to the NCAA to the extent that they need 3,100 people?
Bruce Pearl.
It's not even Bruce. It's like, it's everybody, bro. Like, yeah, Bruce is pretty bad, but like everybody, dude. Look what they did to Pitino, man.
Mocking all the cheating coaches that were ratting out other coaches, like Bruce Pearl was, like acting
I
all
mean-
holier than thou, and you're doing the same stuff or whatever. It's utterly ridiculous. A lot of my bitterness came from actually USC getting sanctioned, not necessarily because USC got sanctioned, but because like Auburn got, like, the Cam Newton thing is more egregious than what Reggie Bush did. And he has that cheeky interview smile where he's like, well, as they say, it's an ongoing investigation. And it's just,
That was
you know,
incredible.
yeah, it's just absolutely just ridiculous how they like handled the two of those cases. Just absolutely shameless.
I mean, that was exactly the same thing for me. Was like, hey, I knew the dollar amount that Cam Newton was getting paid. Like the dollar amount that Cam Newton was getting paid. And Reggie Bush got a car and a big screen TV. And like, what the
His
hell?
mom got an
dude?
apartment too.
I mean, but like, that's still less than what Cam Newton made in a year. Okay, like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah.
What was it? Was it like 180,000? I think.
yeah,
220,
I
something like that.
remember thinking like, oh, this is a big law first year associate salary. Like, I was like, he's making as much as a lawyer to play football for Auburn. I was like, what the hell? And they're just like, the number is out there, and they don't even care. They're just like, yeah, whatever, ongoing investigation. So, fuck the NCAA, and yeah,
For warning us about swearing, you're by far the most egregious offender.
I don't care. They deserve that one. Just drop it in there. I can bleep it out. I probably won't though. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Give us 5 stars. Thanks again, always to my co-host Dan and Colin Murphy. I hear my boy crying in the other room. That means I need to go. So-
Quickly, shout out to Oscar Hernandez for winning the Silver Slugger.
oh, he did it?
Yep. Mookie, Teoscar, and Shohei all won it.
The voting's a joke. They voted the Dodgers the slugging team of the year, not the team that had the most runs by over 40. What an absolute just fraud session from the MLB media. Snakes.
Yeah,
got
but
snubbed.
counterpoint, Teo. Teo.
Teo's deserving. I'm mad about the other stuff.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh God. All right. Well,
We
gonna
needed
step on
another
snacks.
trophy. It'd been a couple weeks.
Yeah. Maybe we have a parade for this one too. All right, boys. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Yep.
Thanks again, guys. I really appreciate it. And yeah, Murph, how was the mic?
Much better. I'm gonna have to figure out something better.